welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be taking apart a WiiMote. I picked this one up the other day at the rescue mission for a couple bucks, and the only thing wrong with it, I've tried it out, it's missing the back cover. I'm going to buy me one offline and that fix everything, but I want to take it apart and clean it. The buttons are a little sticky, so I'm going to take it apart today and clean it up some. It's pretty basic to do. You need a screwdriver, some glass cleaner. I keep an old toothbrush around in my toolbox. No good for brushing teeth, but it's great for cleaning stuff. And some sort of rag, towel. Now you got 4 screws to do this once you remove the battery cover, because typically there's a battery cover here. You pop it off, and you got 4 screws. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now sometimes they'll have security screws on them, so you need a specialty tool on here to get them, but these do not. They just have a regular Phillips head in them. So you just take them on out. It's pretty basic to do. Now these end two here are a little deep down in there, so sometimes you got to get a little longer screwdriver. And let's see what we got here. Of course they're not going to come out the first try. Why would they? All right? Let me switch screwdriver tips. There's 4. Now, I recommend a little pry thing. Some people will stick a screwdriver between here to get it apart at the seams. Fortunately, I have a little plastic pry piece that don't mess up the edge. Look, it popped right apart. Sometimes you got to put a little pressure behind them to get them apart, but this one wanted to come apart. It wants to be clean. That's a good thing. Now you're going to take it apart. Kind of press the trigger button. It pops right out. I'm sorry, you hear my phone going off in the background, but oh well. So this is the board. It's wanting to be stuck here for some reason. There we go. This one has a little battery in it. It has LED on it, by the way, color changing lights. It's pretty slick looking. My son claimed it already, my 8-year-old green tiger. Well, we're going to try to leave the battery pack in there. But if you want to change it, it just pops out. You put a new one in, bam, simple enough. But that side of the board looks good and clean. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the toothbrush here with a little bit of window cleaner. Make sure to put a towel or something down. I don't, but I have a work area here. And then you can kind of clean it. You can also use rubbing alcohol. It dries quick and it cleans good. This is the speaker here. Try to be precocious about that. But you just want to clean it up, get any sticky stuff off of it. There might be a little bit here, so I'll try it. You don't need to go too crazy on it. And then you just kind of stick it to the side and let it dry. The only button on here is the trigger button here. It just snaps in and out, but it don't look dirty or anything, so I'm just going to leave it alone. No need to kill myself. I'm going to scoot it to the side and work on the buttons now. Now you want to remember where these things go. As you can see, I have it upside down. Notice how it goes in here. If you try to put it together like this, it's not going to work. So then you'll have to take it all apart. Make sure you're putting it back together the correct way. But when you take them apart, hit them with the brush. Get the sticky, get the gunk, get the gummy stuff out. I had my Zelda messed up a few years ago. Someone spilt soda on it and never told me, so I never cleaned it and kept, when I would try to drive forward playing Mario Kart, well, I'd go backwards. It drove me crazy. Then I took it apart and I was like, well, that explains that. Works great now. All these weren't sticking, but I'm going to take them apart anyway. Here's the lovely A button that is good for so many things on the Wii. Now notice they go back in a certain way. I don't know if you can see that. See the shape of this? Now every Wiimote I've taken apart has a certain way for buttons to go back in to make sure you get them back in the right way. See, that one has 4 across on it. This one does not. It's a little different shape. That way you put them back in the right spot. The directional pads have all been pretty much standard. It's a directional pad. Now I don't know if you can see here, but it was sticky and you can see some gunk here. Looks like somebody spilt something wet on it. So you just scrub it up with a little bit of window cleaner or alcohol and stick it aside and let it dry also while you do the rest of the buttons. The directional pad and the A button were the sticky two. The 2 button looks nice and clean, but I got it apart, might as well clean it, right? The 1 button has some dirt in it. It wasn't bothering anything, hindering the play, but then you just stick it to the side. I'm going to go ahead and clean this. It's got a little bit of spillage on it. Let the frame dry, or the case I should say. You got to be careful around these things. Don't let people drink and spill stuff. Otherwise you'll have to take them apart and clean them regularly. Which is pretty simple, as you can see. And we're 90% of the way done. Now, the button did fly out by itself, the power button. Now on this one it has the extra little button here for changing the light color. It changes like 4 or 5 different colors, so that's pretty cool. We're going to let that dry real quick. And we're going to put this part back together. Make sure it's dry. It's not quite dry. That's where the rag comes in. I'm going to dab it up some. Gentle with them speaker wires. You don't want to mess them up. Then you'll be on YouTube having to watch more videos. And I don't show how to fix them. I'm terrible at soldering. Well, because I'm blind. Not totally blind, but blind enough to where I'm not soldering. How's that? I can cook and fix almost anything, but I can't see hardly anything. Now, if it's just a little damp, you can blow it. There, dry. So we're going to stick it back together here. Make sure it snaps in there right. We're going to flip it over for a sec. Make sure the battery compartment's clean. It's pretty clean anyway. I'm sure it's been sitting for a few years. It is 2021 after all. The Wii has been, well, even though a new record was just set the other day on Mario Kart, from what I read, the Wii's been kind of obsolete to a lot of people. Not me. Not my 8-year-old son. And even my 19-year-old just bought a WiiMote because he didn't know I had just bought this one. So we like our Wii. We love our Wii. We do a lot of retro type gaming. Now, let's go ahead and put these buttons back in. Like I said, they're pretty, most of them are pretty standard about having certain shapes, so you put them in the correct way. Makes it easy for you, really. That's the power button there. If I could see these small buttons, it would help a lot better. My fingers are kind of big. Oh, no wonder I was trying to put it in the wrong place, it looks like. It would have still worked, just the design on the front would have been a little different. I prefer it to be the right way. Plus, it wouldn't fit in there quite right. Tweezers come in handy. I didn't mention them in the beginning. And I should have. My apologies. I don't typically need them, except for these small buttons. It'd be really awesome to be able to see. I can sometimes get Green Tiger to help me, but he's busy watching YouTube right now. Let's see if this one fits a little better that way. I guess that one don't matter on this controller. Now, all cleaned up, ready to put back together. Now make sure when you put it back together to get the lens put back in there the correct way. It just snaps in there also. There you go. Nothing to it but screw it together now. Let's check these buttons out. Oh yeah. No sticky to them. So now you just stick the screws back in there. Comes in handy to magnetize your screwdriver tip sometimes. for small jobs like this. I have a little magnetizer here that came with my little tool kit that Santa bought me a couple years ago. It has been used lots and lots of time since Santa bought me too. Or since he bought it to me, excuse me. See? Screws on the end. Very nice. One side's a magnetizer, the other side's a demagnetizer. Wait, let's pick it up with my magnetized. Bam. Look at there. Amazing. Last one. And there you go. A WiiMote breakdown, clean up, and putting it back together. And as you can see, all the buttons are put back together. I'll be getting online in a few minutes, ordering me a cover for the bag here, and then I'll have yet another WiiMote. Yes, another WiiMote, because we like to play the Wii, and if you try to buy these things on Marketplace or something, people are wanting $15 and $20 for them because, well, they're crazy is why. I just run into them for $2, $3, and I pick them up and buy them. Make sure to click like, subscribe to our channel. We'll be cooking, we'll be fixing things. No telling what all we'll be doing. It'll all be fun and educational. Thanks for joining.